Hey, Common Grounders. Hope you're having a great summer so far. It was great to see some of you graduate this past Saturday. It was awesome to be there and watch you guys walk. Congratulations to the recent graduates. I wanted to do some videos on the Facebook page this summer to kind of keep in touch with you guys, maybe to share some encouragement, to let you know a couple of things God is teaching me, and hopefully just to stay connected a little bit better over the summer than we've been able to in the past. So I want to start off today by talking to you about something I was reading in my devotions a little bit ago from Acts chapter 10. In Acts chapter 10, there's this centurion named Cornelius. And he's a God-fearing man. He is trying to help the poor and pray and do all that he knows to do to be able to do what God would want him to. But he has not heard about Christ yet. He hasn't had the gospel delivered to him. And he gets a message from God that tells him to send some of his men to go and get Peter. Now, at the same time, Peter is also hearing from God about going and sharing with Cornelius. And this is a beautiful chapter because it's where Peter learns that the gospel message is for the Gentiles as well as for the Jewish people. And for those of us who are Gentiles, that's definitely good news to hear and to know. And it's a beautiful picture of how that ministry to the Gentiles starts through Peter there. But I want to look at the process that happens a little bit in here. The process, particularly when Peter found out about what was going to happen. So we're going to pick it up after Cornelius has gotten his message and sent his men to find Peter. But before they get there, and Peter has been praying on a rooftop, which is just a totally awesome place to pray. We should totally pray on rooftops more often. But he's praying on a rooftop, and he gets hungry, so he's waiting for some food. And before he gets his food, he has this vision. It says, starting just before verse 11, it says, "He fell into a trance and saw the heavens opened and something like a great sheet descending, being let down by its four corners upon the earth. In it were all kinds of animals and reptiles and birds of the air. And there came a voice to him, 'Rise, Peter, kill and eat.' But Peter said, 'By no means, Lord, for I have never eaten anything that is common or unclean.' And the voice came to him again a second time, 'What God has made clean, do not call common.' This happened 3 times, and the thing was taken up at once to heaven. Now while Peter was inwardly perplexed as to what the vision that he had seen might mean, behold, the men who were sent by Cornelius, having made inquiry for Simon's house, stood at the gate." All right, well, what I see here, there are a couple of really neat things. First of all, God's timing is great. It's really cool how he's able to give that vision to Peter right as Cornelius' men are coming. In fact, he tells Peter shortly afterward that to go down and to greet the men. And I just think it's really cool that God's timing is so awesome. But I'm a little astonished that I actually am surprised by that sometimes, especially when it happens in my own life. I'm like, wow, God, your timing's just great. It's amazing how you do that. And it's almost like I'm surprised that the one who created time is really, really good at using it. So just remember that when you see something where God's timing seems exquisite, well, that's to be expected. He is the creator of time. Of course, he is great at using it. But we should still be thankful to him for how good he is at using it. What I want to really talk to you about today out of this, though, is Peter's at least seeming process as he goes into this. He recognizes that this is from God. He says Lord here. He says, "By no means, Lord, for I've never eaten anything that is common or unclean." But he's still not quick to go ahead and follow this message that he's given. He's still not quick to step up and eat because that's not what he thought he was supposed to do. It's not what he believed he was supposed to do ahead of time. And I think the first thing that we can do is hopefully learn from Peter and try to avoid that some. This is not the first time that Peter's had to be told multiple times about something. And hopefully we can learn from that a little. I know there are times I have to be told multiple times about things to really get it, but my hope is that we can see this and look at Peter and say, wait, why, Peter, did you make this be told 3 times? Verse 16 says, "This happened 3 times, and the thing was taken up at once to heaven." And my first question is, why did it have to happen 3 times? If Peter knows this is coming from God, and he is being told what to do, it's pretty clear, then why does he have to see it 3 times here? This vision, at least the message seems like it should be clear, but I do have to be reminded that I do that too. And so my first encouragement to you is to try to listen the first time. Of course, you have to take time to make sure that whatever you're hearing that you believe is from God matches with Scripture and that is consistent with what God has said. To test that voice and make sure it's from God. To test that direction and make sure that it's from God. But then don't ask over and over again. I think a lot of the times we know what we're supposed to do and we still stall and pause. And I don't want you to get to the end of your summer and feel like you just kind of stalled the summer away and never did what it was that God was really asking you to do, really asking you to be a part of. So that's my first encouragement, is to do what it is that God is asking you to be a part of. Do what it is that He's asking you to do, even if it seems like something that doesn't make sense to you. The other thing I want you to hear here is that even when we mess that up, God is awesome because He doesn't just say it once and then make it our only chance to have heard from Him. I love that it was said 3 times. And God gives this clear message, but He gives it 3 times to Peter. Make sure that he's gotten it. And then He says, and the men are downstairs now. And then Peter goes and sees God work in these people's lives, and he gets it. He gets that this is a message from God telling him not to call things common or unclean, that God has made clean throughout all different areas, not just the food, but in the lives, in the spreading of the gospel to different people's lives and to different areas and different nations. And I just love where God was persistent in that with Peter and gave him that reminder, because I need those so often. So hope you guys are having a great week. Like I've said, hope your summer is excellent. Please call, keep up on Facebook, that kind of stuff, and I'll talk to you again soon. Thanks. Bye.